John Heyman gives us the latest Pete Alonso update. Also, what is happening with Alex Bregman and what are the odds he'll end up being a New York Met? Next on MetCast. Welcome back to MetCast, friends. As always, I am Rain. If you like our content, we ask you to like and subscribe. Help us get to that 3,000 subscriber goal. It has been awesome. We have the live stream a couple nights ago. That went off without a hitch. But what we're really here for, what is going on with Pete Alonso? The more this drags out, the more I think this ends up not working out for the New York Mets. John Heyman has his latest article from the New York Post. What is preventing Mets Pete Alonso from reuniting in MLB free agency? He goes on to say, while we've said here the Mets and Pete Alonso need to figure it out, there is said to be a sizable gap in talks at the moment. I mean, think about it. David Stearns has played this like a classic king on a chessboard or a queen on a chessboard. When you look at the teams that are available for Pete Alonso, odds are he doesn't want to go to those teams. San Francisco, Seattle. I mean, if he wanted to stay on the East Coast, as he's from Florida, Washington was an option, but they traded for Lowe. So when you look at the remaining teams, really, the only team he's probably really interested in returning to is the New York Mets. Heyman goes on to say that doesn't mean he's gone, as the Mets have closed big gaps before. See Juan Soto below, obviously. Only that no quick deal appears to be in hand. The Mets are considering their options at first base and also third base to a degree, and one fullback alternate could be moving Mark Vientos to first, giving Brett Baty, Ronnie Mauricio a shot at third base. Let's be honest, fans. If Brett Baty or Ronnie Mauricio is our starting first baseman next year, I will be pissed and you will be pissed because you brought Juan Soto in to win right away, and Brett Baty and Mauricio are not win-now moves. Heyman continued. Weighing in Alonso's favor, he is a Met fan favorite. Weighing generally against him, he had a down year for him. Obviously, we all know that. The power isn't coveted this year. While we've argued for more lineup protection for Soto, it's also possible that only Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani could truly protect Soto, which I think is a little ridiculous. That's a little shot towards the New York Mets. Alonso is one of the top free agents left in the market. We already know that. But that's pretty much the gist of the article that came from Heyman right there. The fact is there's a sizable gap. I think it's starting to get well known around players throughout MLB. If you are an elite talent, go with Scott Boras. If you're not an elite player in this league, you don't go to him because Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell last year. Blake Snell got very lucky and was able to get the Dodgers to pay him this offseason, but he was on another 1-year contract. Montgomery's suffering out there in Arizona. So I think that could potentially be where Alonso's heading. Alonso may end up playing for a team that he may not necessarily want to play for, which would kind of really suck for him, let's be honest, as a fan favorite. Now, we also have this from John Heyman here. I'll let you guys listen. It's the latest on Alex Bregman.
The Bregman of the Mets, question mark. Let's get to Alex Bregman now. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to rule out Bregman to the Mets at this point. I think they do like him very much.
It's interesting because I will put out Bregman's tweet today right here. He said 2025 is going to be amazing. Hint, hint, maybe? I don't know. A lot of speculation. We all know how Twitter could react to anything, but a lot of speculation when it came to that tweet.
Vientos would then go to first. Possible. Can't rule it out. I mean, the guy's a gamer, postseason history, loves to play at a big second half. The Yankees love him, but the question there would be the ballpark more than anything. Certainly not.
Because Bregman is a pull hitter, and he had those little inlets while in Houston, and I believe somebody brought up a stat. It was almost like half his home runs wouldn't have been a home run in Yankee Stadium from last year.
Not the kind of ballpark that Houston has been for him. He does pull a lot of his home runs. You know, maybe he could tailor his swing a little bit if the Yankees considered it. But like I said, I think the Yankees are pretty close to their limit for the most part, unless something crops up here. The Mets, you know, who knows what their limit is. Maybe they go for Bregman. I don't know if they pivot from Alonso. Right now, I think they're looking at Alonso. I don't know how.
I don't see, and I think you guys are with me. Let me know below in the comments. I do not see David Stearns waiting until late January or February to fill his first base position. I don't see him as that type of general manager because what if Alonso does go and sign with Seattle and Bregman goes and signs with Texas or Boston? What if that actually happens and we're stuck at the altar with Brett Beatty and Ronnie Mauricio at third base? That is a man. Now you're not only downgrading at first base because you're moving Vientos to first base, who's not his natural position. You are now forced to bring up somebody who we don't know is going to play. You're going from a potential 4-5 hitter in Alonso to what, an 8 or 9 hitter and Brett Beatty, and we don't know what Ronnie Mauricio is. The guy hasn't played baseball in a year and a half.
Close they are with Alonso. We're going to get to Alonso next. Bregman, I still think the best opportunities probably are the Red Sox and the Tigers. I've kind of seen where the Red Sox were split on it. I think the reason has to be, and I'm mostly speculating, is probably that Devers wants to stay at third base. That could be the only reason to me. You switch Devers to first base, trade Casas inside Bregman. That ballpark fits Boston so well, and that is really the best spot, I think, for Bregman would be Boston, and he is willing to.
And that's what you have from John Heyman. I mean, I think Bregman to the New York Mets is starting to make more and more sense, and I can't believe I'm saying that because out of all people, I want Pete Alonso back. I know most Met fans are like that too. I see it on X every day at MetCast Spot. People saying, I don't care about Bregman. I want Pete Alonso. Now you got to take the emotion out of it. What if think about this. Pete Alonso declined a 7-year contract extension before this season started. What is he asking for? 8 years at 30 years old? That's just not going to happen. Scott Boris's expectations might not be realistic. We've seen it before. We saw it with Drew back in the day. A lot of these players aren't signing. Then they end up signing and having an awful year because they skip spring training. Now their spring training is April and May, and it screws up their entire season. So if I'm the Mets, you got to make your decision up soon. What are you doing? Is it going to be Bregman? Is it going to be Alonso? You can compare the OPSs. Lately, let's be honest, Bregman has been a better player. But obviously, Pete's got a place in all of our hearts. The big home run he hit against Milwaukee last year, that'll never be forgotten. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Are you a Pete guy? Are you a Bregman guy? Bregman brings that gold glove to third base. Maybe Vientos brings a little more flexibility to first base. But then you have Alonso, who's got one of the best pick rates in all of baseball. He's got the power numbers. And I'm one of those people who think once Alonso signs with whoever he signs with, he's going to go back to being Alonso because I think this contract has really weighed on him over the last couple of years. But again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And if you enjoy our content, we humbly ask you to like and subscribe. Help us get to that subscriber goal of 3,000 where we'll be doing a giveaway. As Mets content continues to come out, we'll be sure to bring you the latest. Thanks so much for hanging around. Talk soon.